Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Business Growth Show, where we talk about all components of business and how to utilize them for exponential growth. My name is Athin Cassiotis. I'm a business growth strategist where I help business owners grow, scale, cut costs, and increase profit. And today, I have an awesome guest. He's a serial entrepreneur, venture capitalist, and mentor. He's the CEO and founder of Profit Proof, where he helps to fund startups. And at age 29, he sold his business for 9 figures. And he has helped launch numerous startups, as well as consulted for many of the world's most successful millionaires and billionaires, including Steve Jobs. And entrepreneurs hire him to take them from the top 10% earners to the top 2% earners in the world through changing their brain chemistry to match those of billionaires. Welcome, Alex Moses, and thank you for being on my show.
Thank you for an awesome introduction.
You're welcome, mate. You're an awesome guy. So much experience and wealth of knowledge. It's amazing with what you've done, and I'm sure it's going to be an awesome show today for everyone watching and listening. One thing that sticks out, in that introduction was that, at age 29, which is quite young, right, being an entrepreneur, that you sold your business for 9 figures, right? That's a massive feat. So, definitely congratulations there. Do you want to maybe just delve into something like at that age, maybe how long it took you to get to that point, and what were some key things in being able to get that amazing result at such a young age as well?
My first venture was by necessity that taught me actually very good lesson, and from that lesson on, I pretty much kept my whole life around the same philosophy. So at the age of 17, I was a refugee. So I was a refugee from war, from Ukraine, of all the places. And I ended up in Italy, that I spoke no Italian, had no legal paperwork, and I didn't know how to survive. So then I was told by another immigrant who was in the same position that I was, so you can go and just wash windows and somebody will give you money, just go inside and ask them for money after you wash a window in the store. In Europe, there's stores like all over the city, like in Rome. So I thought, okay, I don't have a choice. So I have to eat something, I have to survive somehow. So I did that. And in a few days, one of the guys in my area too, who was an immigrant as well, he came to me, he said, you know what, I saw you were struggling only like a few days ago. Suddenly you have money, I see you going to the restaurant, eating dinner there. What do you do? I told him, that's what I do. Just go to the store, wash their window, and then I go inside and ask for, some people give me food, some people give me money, some people, want to kill me, but that's what I do. So you can do the same thing if you need money. He goes, no, I cannot do that. I said, okay. He goes, but I have like wife and 2 kids. Is then can you offer me anything else? Maybe you know something else I can do? I said, no, that's all I can do. So you can go wash windows. He goes, can I at least come with you? Can you ask for the money? I said, okay. I don't mind to help you. So the next day I went with him. So it's obviously not as boring. It's a little bit more fun. So now I have somebody to talk to, and somebody, if I get kicked out of the store by somebody with a stick, I don't feel as bad because I have somebody who can take a little bit of sorrow off me. So then in a week or so, he tells me, you know what, I've got a friend who's in the same position that I am. Can he come with us? I said, that's okay. The more, the merrier. And, within 30 days, all of a sudden I had 30 employees.
Awesome.
And I was still 17 years old, even though all the guys around me were already in their 30s and 40s. And I understood that the whole idea, I did not try to build a business or make money. All I did was trying to help those guys. They're willing to split income with me because, I would go and ask for the money. I handled the money part, and they were just washing the windows. And after a while, I already had a set customers. I know the places I could go and could not go. And I had the whole working business model. From that point on, it was clear to me that if I focus on helping people, I will never have to worry about the money ever again.
Yeah, that's awesome. Powerful, mate. And so interesting to see, at a young age, and like so many people that were a lot older than you that, you were doing that and managing it. And such quick of time. I love that insight into, your experience. And I know, at a later time, when you're a bit older, that you also started your own trade school and you got to $1 million a month in profits within 18 months as well, right? So that's massive, in a short period of time. So like, what happened with that? What were some key things that you were able to just scale, so quickly, for that you created?
It's understanding and looking for the problems, because if you create your business about solving a problem, so was the business that I sold for 9 figures. The whole idea of the business, I had to solve a problem, and because it was IT era, and this type of businesses were growing very, very fast, and the big guys would, barge in. If they see a good idea, they'll buy you for, 9 or even 10 figures. Like, some companies like broadcast.com was sold for $3.2 billion. They never even used that platform. They literally paid for nothing. But Mark Cuban, I'm sure, is a very happy person that they did that. But the school was a little bit more problem for me to do, because there was a lot of issues I had to deal with. It was a trade school and I didn't have any experience. And there was a lot of competition, because first I didn't know what to do. Because what kind of a school? And when I teach people, it's something I enjoy, but I didn't know what type of a school I need to do. So the only school that made sense at the time, and because there was demand on the information technology, and there was this extreme shortage for software engineers. But it's very hard to teach somebody something of a real skill in a short period of time, so they can actually go and get a real job. So I had to come up with a solid model that actually worked. Because I had my business before and I had a problem finding good engineers, I had to create the training program in my business, so I could bring the people with some talents and put them through a training, so they would get training on a job and actually start working once they get a training. So I used the same idea, my playbook from my previous business, and started applying it in the school, because I thought the idea of using the practice is a lot more valuable, just learning from the book. But there was a lot of issues. First, people could not afford to come to my school. If they could afford, they would go to more reputable school, because I just started. Nobody knew who I was. So I had to lower the price quite a bit, because the competition was costing like $8,000. They had some kind of a loans. So you can go in for $2,000. So I lowered my price to $1,200, and I didn't even know how am I going to survive and pay bills and everything else. So that didn't even work. The people couldn't even afford $1,200. I was saying, okay, I need to find something. So I went through all the nonprofit organizations and found a couple of companies who were willing to give a grant for first educational people who wants to get a trade education for the first time. They'll give me like $1,200 grant. I said, okay, that will work. So at least they can come in for free. And $1,200 will be there, but $1,200 wouldn't even cover the expenses of a school. So what I had to do, now I have to figure out, okay, how am I going to do it? So my thinking was, I have to create a process for them to learn, that they can learn. And the only way they can learn is through the practice. So if I'm going to put somebody instead of a teacher, but a project manager, if they're going to learn on the practice, working on the real projects and get a real experience, it would be easier for them to get a job at the end of the day. So what I did, I started outsourcing project from the companies like Lancome and Coca-Cola for pennies on the dollars, because the labor didn't cost me anything. And I was making $20, $30 an hour for every single hour that my students actually were working on the project. I just started generating a lot better income. But now I had to come up with a bold promise that no trade school would come up with. And my promise was that I guarantee you a job by the end of the school. Because the best thing you can get is like resume creators or some employment counselors, but nobody in this industry ever guarantee you a job at the end of the school that you pay nothing for in the first place. go for school for free, and then they guarantee you a job at the end. So I had to figure out how to solve that problem. So what I did, I brought in the headhunting, so placement company straight in the school. So we would have a headhunters contact all the companies because my students already had real experience working on the big name companies like Lancome and Coca-Cola. It was a lot easier to place them with a job. And the people that we had problems to place with a job, I would recycle them back into school and make them teachers to taking new classes. And this way, everybody got employment. And this way, my income from zero, technically, or $1,200 grant, went up to $20,000, $30,000 per employee, the profit-wise, because of the outsourcing and placement income. That's why it didn't take very long to get to $1 million in profit, because demand was high. Everybody wanted, I mean, there were more people wanting to come to the school for free that guarantee you a job at the end than we could handle it. Very long answer.
That's awesome. That was amazing. I love the way that you think and how you, solve those key problems with, the labor side of things and getting them hands-on instead of just learning from a book. It's like, hey, let's actually do it on real projects. That's amazing. And then, the big promise. I think that's a big thing, for businesses in general, right? What's the promise there, and to guarantee them a job, and either it was in the field or as a teacher. Like, that's just so smart in how you structured that. So love that, mate. Thank you for sharing that. And I'm sure a lot of people can unpack that thinking, right? And I guess you obviously invest, right, with the venture capital firms into a lot of businesses and and people, right? Because a lot of the time investing is with people at the same time, because the idea can be good, but is there the right people behind it? So when you're working with these people, these entrepreneurs, what do you think is the biggest thing that sort of holds them back, from being successful?
State of mind and understanding of their own abilities and skills. That's it. That's the easy one.
That's the easy one. That's it. That's the simple answer. All right, guys. That's all you need. So let's get into it a bit more, right? So, state of mind. I know you like to use the term like self-awareness, right? About, who we're being there. So, and I think, one part of self-awareness is about our energy, right? At the same time. So do you want to maybe delve into a little bit about, the energy we bring to things and how, our awareness around that is important and how we, show up?
Right. The way I use the model, first you have to understand yourself. There's a lot of parts to it, but you have to understand not only your personality, because your behavior is extremely important, and the difference between personality and behavior, most people don't understand. The personality is how you look at the world, and behavior, how you appear to the world, which is two different things. That's why appearance is always not actually what's going on. And we have an identity, something that naturally we've been born with, our skills and talents. So once you understand those things, now you have to be aware of not to show your flaws in the business, just focusing on your strengths. But if you have flaws, now you have to bring the teammates who can cover those flaws that you cannot cover. So that successful business cannot be built by a single person. So it's not a self-employed gig, it's a business. So the business have to have the right team. The right team have to be built around the right skill set of the different people who can add to each other abilities instead of delete it. So that's the most important thing. Plus, they obviously have to have something that people would benefit from, that actually will solve the problem in the way that nobody else came up with.
Yeah, I love that, mate. So interesting, and all those different elements which there, and I think identity is a big piece, right? Because we have an identity, but at the same time that like evolves, right, over time, because and that could also be the thing that holds us back at the same time, because I know some people could be stuck with a certain identity which is not the identity of who they really want to be, or that they're stepping into. So what are your thoughts around, I guess, the shifting of identities?
Right. I think you're using two different ideas, because what you're describing is more like a personality. Because identity does not change. This is something you're born with. The personality does. And your personality really depends on where you are and who you're around. Obviously, your personality changes, depends on your environment. So if you're in a positive environment, supporting environment, you're going to progress a lot better. And if you're in a negative environment, you're probably going to degress instead of a progress. So it's extremely important. Again, the team is extremely important. You have to be around the people who push you forward instead of pulling you back. And if you have the people in your life that pulling you back, you don't necessarily have to ignore them, but you should know how to be aware and control yourself, not to be dragged down by those people, because some of those people might be your immediate family. So it's not always you can ignore them.
Yes.
But if your level of awareness is pretty high, you'll be able to control yourself and not to give in to the negativity.
Yeah, love that, mate. So true. Yeah, I had to limit my my calls with my parents to once a week. That was my strategy because of their mindset. But we go deep on the calls. We message every day, but just the speaking element, that's what I found worked for me. Everyone's different, right? We can always still be around, like you said, these people, and if we're conscious about not letting it affect us, that we can, but we still want to make sure that we're investing our time into more people that are there to support us, right? And have that good mindset, because it rubs off on us at the same time. Love it, mate. So let's talk a bit about the Enneagram. And I know you're big on this, the testing and the different personas, or you probably know it a lot better than what I do. And my wife actually knows a lot about the Enneagram. She's very deep on it as well. So I'm understanding what I am as the achiever a lot of the time, but there's many others that are part of it. So do you want to maybe just quickly introduce like what the Enneagram is, to understanding ourselves, and just a little bit more about like how it can help us, right, to move forward?
Right. Quite a few years back, I was a part of the Fourth Way, which is actually a spiritual organization that the whole focus is understanding yourself. It started by a Gurdjieff, and they had a lot of powerful people in this organization. This is a sacred organization. You cannot just walk in. It's very hard to find who they are and where they are. They don't tell people that they're part of the organization. And there's a couple of people who are very powerful in it. Somebody like, probably heard of the name Hitler or Stalin. They're actually part of the Fourth Way. And the Fourth Way actually generated a way of understanding yourself better through a personality, which is Enneagram. So Enneagram is actually part of was born from the Fourth Way and created by Gurdjieff, who actually was the founder of Fourth Way. What it does is helps people understand their personality. And personality is not something we're born with, which is identity. Personality is something that we acquired over the years. And by testing yourself, it can give you a better idea what actually motivates you and what stresses you, and how to function better and be more functional in your way. Like, I'm type 8 in Enneagram, which makes me a challenger. It means I like to be challenged. I like to be in an environment that people want me to do the things that I don't think possible. And I like to challenge myself. So that's great. If I create the business and the environment that's structured that way, I'm going to be a lot bit more functional. And the way I process the information, I process information through talking. Because if you're type, I believe 4 or 3, you're going to process information through thinking. I process information to talking. So I operate better in a group of people, and the other types might operate better by themselves. It doesn't make me actually extrovert, because I'm actually introvert, but I still process information in a group of people better than I do it on my own. But it's just good system for people to better understand themselves and their personality.
Yeah, Love it, mate. Very cool. And there's 9 parts of it, right? 9 types.
Right. There's 9 different personalities.
Yeah. And there's like the ones that to ascend to the next part, you sort of got to go into the this one. There's sort of like a little bit of a structure, I guess, to how you're moving up depending on where you're at. And there's like light and dark sides to them as well, right? To my understanding, where,
Yes, there's a mature and amateur.
Yes.
So the difference in maturity, by you understanding yourself better, you can control your negative sides better than the person who doesn't understand them. So for type 8, for example, the type 8 who's immature is going to get angry at people for no reason. The mature one will control their anger and transition into a different energy.
Yeah, I like that. So true, right? It's we all get triggered by certain things, and it's able to, being able to understand what those are. And that comes back down to the awareness piece, right? Like we're talking about through this whole thing here is, understanding generally who we are, but then how is our personality? What are all these things that we're good or not good at? And what could we fall down with? And if you're aware of that, then you can work on them, or not let it affect you as much. So we can, make more of an impact, whatever that is, in our lives. So,
mindfulness is definitely key. Actually, the last publishing of Time magazine, the cover is about mindfulness that can help you to be happy and healthy. That's on Time magazine right now.
What are your thoughts around that? Like about mindfulness? Like what are some key things, like people talk about meditation, like things like that. Like what are some key things that you think could help us, with our mindfulness and, wellness elements of putting that into our routines?
That's the only thing that separates us from animals. Being in control of ourselves, because animals do not have self-control and people are. So when you have just reacting to things, you're obviously not mindful, right? And there's always opportunity for you to react instead of act by processing what actually happened. It gives you a huge advantage in everything, in relationships, within family relationship, in business relationship, because your ability to control yourself and control the person you're dealing with give you a lot more opportunity to be more successful than if you can't.
Yeah, that's awesome. Love that element there. And I guess, obviously we've been talking a bit about mindset and things today. And, we talked about obviously being more positive, your environment, hanging around the right people more so where possible, and potentially limiting or protecting yourself from others that may not be as positive and a bit more negative. What are some things that you think that, we could do to just enhance our mindset? Like, if we're having a bit of challenges, to be more positive, or just in generally, to be better at what we do.
It's a work. You need to, I don't think it's possible to do it on your own. I've tried it for a very long time. I couldn't do it on my own. I had to join like a fourth way organization, because I've tried it for a very long time, for 30 years, even plus when I was joined the fourth way. I couldn't change myself. You need to have a mentor who can guide you through a process, because it's not easy seeing yourself from outside and understand yourself how the other people see you. You need somebody who can reflect that to you and can help you to guide you through a process, who has got experience doing that. I do it with everybody I mentee, for example. So when people come to me, the first 3 months, I do not even go into business with people. So people come to me because they want to make, like, I don't know, $1 billion. I don't care, 20, 30, $100 million. I was like, okay, the first thing, you have to start understanding yourself, understanding your skills. So we don't even go for 3 months into the money part at all. It's almost like Karate Kid, right? Wax on, wax off. No, nothing, no kicks, no punches. Wax on, wax off. That's literally my model. It takes about 3 months for people actually to things start to progress.
Yeah.
I don't know. I cannot give any advice how you can do it on your own. I couldn't. I'll be a bad person to advise that.
Oh, that's all right. I think that's the key bit of advice, right? Is to get a mentor or, coach someone there to actually guide you through a process and work out what are other things that are inside you that you're in your unconscious mind that you're not conscious about, make them conscious, and then change the unconscious mind, right? There, so that you can, rescript yourself in those ways. And you're right. It's a lot more challenging to do it ourselves. In that way, it's, when you have someone that's good that can guide you, yeah, that's massive. I love the Karate Kid analogy as well. When I met my wife, just side thing, I said I manifested her at a group meditation event. I asked for my perfect woman. Long story short, because it's like a 10-minute story, and she was there at that event. Right, really powerful story. Now, one of the things I asked for, I was very specific. I said, "Knows the same similar movies," and I was wearing a Cobra Kai t-shirt. She says, "Do you know where your t-shirt's from?" I said, "Yes, do you?" She goes, "I watched Karate Kid the movie last night, and you're wearing the t-shirt from that movie." Right, so I understand all the references and all of that. So just a side little thing, but I love that, and it's so interesting, isn't it, when you understand the basics. So I guess you're building a strong foundation, right? That's what it is, so that then they can grow.
You have to. You cannot move forward in a business or life without a proper foundation. I think that's missing in today's society, in a business growth and educational system.
Yeah, definitely. No, that's awesome, mate. And like, let's talk a little bit more around like, money and wealth, because, a lot of people want lots of money, right? And a lot of people struggle. A lot of people make a lot of money, right? At the same time. And you've been very successful in that way. We've talked about some of your successes, right, in that, and how you're giving back now to help others, obviously, at the same time. So, what are some key, I guess, characteristics around money and wealth and things that we should understand, so that we can help us to then be able to attract it, right, to us as well?
I think you used the right word, attracting, because that's the way I'm looking at the money. I don't look at the money like Warren Buffett does. To me, it's not necessarily analytical. To me, it's actually more energetical. And I look at it as the energy. So if you give somebody money, they all of a sudden they have the energy to perform some kind of a task for you. If the customers spend money with you, you need to make sure that they get enough energy back so they feel good about it. Because if they receive exchange of energy for the money, which is energy, given to you, which is less than they gave you energy in the form of money, it means they're going to feel bad or feel ripped off. But if they feel that they got a lot more energy for exchange of money, energy that they gave you, all of a sudden they feel great about it. So that's pretty much the difference when you buy a product that you're happy about, or you buy the product you think, oh, it's broken, it doesn't work, it just got ripped off. So that's a very important part. So now if we're going to look at employees, this is a customer and a business relationship. Right now we have the employees. Employees are not going to work very well if they think they're underpaid, right? They think that they don't get enough energy to perform the task because you don't give them enough energy. What if you overpay employee? That's actually the case as well. It means you gave them too much energy, which might actually tire them just as well. So that's why you have to give them just enough energy to perform the task. And that's if you balance the businesses, just looking at the energy alone and understanding the human behavior and identity and psychology, it gives you a pretty good view how to deal with the businesses and how to fix different businesses. Because it's all energy. And in my world, I just look at the energy. If the employees happy, if the customers are happy, if the people who's gonna be vendors in between are happy, it means there's a smooth exchange of energy. And there's a chance for a growth and a potential a lot higher if there's somewhere the leakage of the energy. So that's my model for money. That's how I looked at it.
Yeah, I love that, mate. Being in tune with it and understanding it from an energetic level. Yeah, that's really powerful, because everything's really a frequency, right? Around us, and it's just more about
They
tapping into
are. Because when people look at a stock market, right, we're talking about the money. If you look at your heartbeat and you look at the stock market, doesn't it look the same?
So true.
It's all energy. Your life is energy. Once the energy is gone, you're dead. Stock market the same way. Once the energy is gone, the stock market dead. Once energy is gone, the business is dead.
So it's how to focus the energy into something so that it grows, basically, right? At the same time.
It has to be a proper amount. You don't want it to go too much. You don't want to go too low. So if it's keep moving like your heartbeat evenly, you're healthy. If it goes too high, you have arrhythmia, you might die. If it goes too low, you might just flatline. So the balance is extremely important. Not just only understanding it, but understanding how to keep the balance going.
Yeah, I love that. And yeah, I guess we can take that from a personal element as well, right? Because a lot of people, you know, the entrepreneur, oh, you got to hustle, you got to work long hours and do all these things, but they're like, you know, that turns into burnout, right? Where you're sort of using too much energy at the same time.
Exactly. It has to be 100% balanced. In order for you to perform at the peak of your performance, you need to make sure you can do it equally, because otherwise you won't be able to perform. And if you're going to get burned out, you're just going to also burn your people around you, your employees, your vendors, your customers, because your level of your energy dictate your behavior.
And what's something that can help us to balance it out? Like, is it just getting enough sleep and maybe doing some meditation, or is there some other things that, you know, we could be doing to balance, you know, ourselves out as well?
It's again, a balance of everything. So it's a proper diet, enough sleep, enough sun, enough oxygen, enough drinking water, not too much sugar, not too much fat. So it's all about the balance and all about like right proportions of everything. If you balance everything, but I agree, the meditation is very important. To me, it's important. I mean, every single religion, every single teaching is talking about the meditation. So obviously there is a reason for it, because it helps us to calm ourselves down. The more relaxed we are, the better self-aware we're going to be. The more mindful we're going to be, and the better function.
Yeah. Awesome, mate. Love that analogy of all those different things to be balanced. I do love my son as well. When it's outside, definitely go for a walk and enjoy it, among other things. And I know that you just got a new book that just got published, Become a Top 2% Earner by Changing Your Brain Chemistry. Love the title. Very unique, mate. So do you want to maybe share us about what the book is and how it can help us?
It's got a few case studies to give people an idea how I see the business. Maybe it can help them to position their businesses in the same way. And I try to put something, when I publish a book, it's not my first and obviously not going to be the last one. I always try to put something about value, like what I'm looking in the business is always look something that I can offer that nobody else does, because otherwise there's no any unique proposition. So I'm trying to offer something always in the books that I publish that you cannot find it anywhere else. And one of those things that I think is very helpful to everyone is to check whether they subconsciously believe in things that they want to do or achieve. And there's actually a very simple test that can be performed by the friend or wife or husband, whatever, to test that. And if they can see that they are not subconsciously believe in what they want to achieve, there are actually a few short exercises that can be performed within 3 to 5 minutes. And they can test themselves again and see if their subconscious mind have changed. And there's actually almost everyone that I've worked with, it worked on. It's very simply described in that book how to do the test, how to do the exercises, and then test yourself again to see if it worked. If not, go and do it again. So it will take you 10 minutes. You can change your subconscious mind about belief on anything you want. Another thing we actually included there, the way you see things, because the way we look at the world I look at the world different. That's maybe I'm a little bit more successful than other people, but I give the people opportunity to change their brain chemistry so they can see the world the way I see it. And there is actually an image there and explain you what you need to do. And then there is an image in the back of what it actually is. And once you see what it actually is, your brain never can go wandering to what you think it was originally. Because before it's like a blur, you don't even know what it is. But once you see a photo of what it actually is, that's all you're going to see from now on. There's no way of going back. And that's why the title is By Changing Your Brain Chemistry, I can help you to become a 2% earner.
Yeah. Awesome, mate. Sounds really powerful. And I'm looking forward to doing this test to make sure that I'm working on point and yeah, getting into it. So I'll be getting that shortly and yeah, check it out on Amazon and everyone like that. I'm sure it's going to be very powerful. And you've got so much knowledge, mate. And like you said, it was like, you know, like your first one and you're going to be doing more stuff. What else have you got planned that's coming out maybe for us that we should be looking forward to as well?
So the next book, I'm going to be working on expectations, because based on tests that we ran and we did research, 90% of people's stress is due to their expectations. So people expect from other people more than people can deliver, or they don't expect enough. They're being surprised, which is just as bad in a business. The same with themselves. They might over expect from themselves to deliver and burn themselves, or under expect and do not deliver what their capability is. And that's actually with everything: house, wives, kids, understanding other people and yourself, understanding what the expectation is, understanding its energy, where it's coming from, and how to manage it and how to position it in a way that it's actually help you to move forward instead of making you stress all the time, can improve your quality of life. That's the second one. The third one is on energy. The following book is already in process too. It's on the energy. We go deeper to understand why we do what we do because of a different energy. So if you're absolutely exhausted and you're laying on the couch, you cannot move after like hard work day and 27-mile run, and all of a sudden, like your favorite person in the world that you haven't seen in 20 years calling you and telling you they're around the corner and they're about to knock on your door, all of a sudden you have the energy that you don't know where it's coming from. And you all of a sudden up and you're willing to do whatever you need to do to fix up your house or meet your friend or to go out. We go deeper in understanding where the energy is coming from, how to manage it and how to have it when you need it, and maybe lower it a little bit when you have it too much of it. Again, I think it's extremely important in people's lives, personal or business.
Yeah, amazing, mate. These things look awesome as well, so and sound awesome and just everything. So I'm looking forward to delving into them once they come out. And yeah, it's been a powerful session today, mate. An episode, so much different goal to different areas of how you're thinking and how you look at things. And yeah, I think everyone should get into that book as well, because I'm sure they'll get a really deep insight into the way you see things and how they can model different areas and improve themselves as well. And I guess as we're wrapping up here today, what one key piece of advice would you give to all the entrepreneurs watching and listening today?
Ignore the noise and focus on understanding yourself and the people around you. And that will put you in a lot better path, because there's way too much noise around us that actually just pulling us back instead of letting us to move forward.
Love that, mate. Really powerful. This I love that, some of your things are just like so few words but so profound, and it's like just really sit with that with everybody. I hope that you did that, because then that can really make a big shift in you if you really embody that as well.
Let me give my quote since we're already closing.
Yeah,
because that's very important to me, and I tell that to everybody I've ever worked with. Seek no truth, seek understanding. Don't try to find flaws within anything. Don't look for the truth, because there's no human that's perfect. Everybody's got skeletons. every business is going to have some issues with them. They always can find something to pick on. But if you seek the understanding what the people are trying to do, what that person is all about, it's going to be a lot better in your life for you. And life's going to be a lot easier to move forward.
Yeah, love that. Seek understanding, everyone. Powerful stuff there. Love the quote, mate. And yeah, we connected through our networks where I learned about your awesome journey to, getting these massive companies, big exits, making $1 million of profit, a month within 18 months. And then, investing in a lot of businesses and now helping others, to be able to grow, their self-awareness as well as, their businesses and things like that as well. You're an awesome guy, and I'm sure you continue to help entrepreneurs go from the top 10% earners to the top 2% earners in the world. Very grateful that we connected, and I look forward to working with you as well. So Alex, how can people find you and get in contact with you?
The easiest way right now is probably to a LinkedIn. That's the only social media that either I check or my assistant check. If there's anything interesting coming in, I'm checking in. I will provide you with the link that you might include for the page for the people that I mentor, and they might go on a waiting list and see if they're qualified, and it would be opportunity for us to work with them.
Yeah. Awesome. So guys, check out Alex on LinkedIn. If you're a good fit, work with him, but also look at his book, right? The book's just come out. Go on Amazon, check out his book, because then whether you're working with Alex right now or not, you can get a deep into his mind and how you can better yourself, right? At the same time, in between anyway. So powerful stuff. Definitely check him out. And thank you to everyone for watching and listening to this show where we talk about everything on business growth. And please like, subscribe, and leave us a 5-star review. And you can find me on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube as Athin Cassiotis, or visit my website, athincassiotis.com. And if you want to grow, scale, cut costs, and increase profit in your business, you can reach out to me on any platform to see if we're a good fit. And I completely agree with you, or do I? The only way you know is if you tune in next time. So until next time, remember that our business grows when we learn skills and take action using them in spite of fear. So remember to design your growth and results.